Do you want to possibly double your store's conversion rate just by using 3 simple, easy to use, and scientifically proven tricks? If so, then stick around. Hello again. For those of you who've seen me before, welcome back. And for those of you who've stumbled upon this video, what's up? My name is Costin. Today I'm going to be discussing a store's conversion rate, more specifically, how to increase it. These are tried and true methods going back decades. We're not reinventing the wheel here. All of the information that I will provide you is based on Robert Cialdini's book Influence, that was published all the way back in 1984, but that is still relevant today, if not more relevant. Out of the 6 concepts that Cialdini presents in his book, I've chosen 3 that I think are the most pertinent and relate the best when discussing online stores. These are social proof, scarcity, and commitment and consistency. I will be discussing them individually, while also giving real-life use cases of how to put them into practice. For that, I'll be using the apps built into Vitals. I chose Vitals not just because it's our app, but because we truly believe in it. It offers all the necessary tools to accomplish everything I will show you, and increase your conversion rate. I may be biased, sure, but there are over 2,000 other people who believe in it as well. For convenience sake, I've left timestamps in the description, so you can skip around if you want to. But I'd encourage you to watch the entire video. You'll definitely learn something new. And while you're at it, why not subscribe and give us a thumbs up? We post new and useful videos every single week. With that out of the way, let's get to it. I first want to discuss the why before moving on to the how. What do I mean by that? Well, it would have been easier and faster to just give you the 3 concepts and the associated apps and be done with it. But you wouldn't have gotten very far with them. It's like the old saying, give a man a fish and you'll feed him for a day. Teach a man a fish and you fed him for a lifetime. And yes, I am quoting Confucius to make a point. Deal with it. The thing is, just having the tools and using them isn't enough. You need to understand why they're valuable, why you should use them. That will provide you with more return on investment in the long run. If you understand the why, you'll be able to use the tools in the correct manner and adjust when things aren't going your way. Which leads me to Cialdini's book Influence. Influence is about 6 principles of persuasion, useful for sales, marketing, and negotiation. Professor Cialdini says certain triggers can influence human decisions almost automatically. The 6 principles are reciprocity, consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. As I mentioned before, I'm only going to focus on 3 of these: social proof, scarcity, and consistency and commitment. If you're wondering why you should listen to this doctor guide, well, Cialdini is one of the world's top experts on the psychology of influence. His books have sold over 5 million copies in 41 languages, and he's also a professor of psychology and marketing at Arizona State University, so he kinda knows his stuff. Just for this book alone, he went undercover for 3 years to investigate how the principles of influence are used in the real world by sales organizations, advertisers, and fundraisers. But how does this relate to online stores? Your customers are human beings, which means they are susceptible to psychological triggers that will make them buy more, thus increasing that conversion rate. Neil Patel said it best: online marketers are obsessed with traffic acquisition numbers and conversion rates. It's easy to forget that your consumers are real people on the other side of the computer screen. To understand why and how these principles work, we first need to learn that all animals use cognitive shortcuts to make their lives easier. Likewise, humans also have similar triggers that are automatic and irrational. Usually, they are shortcuts that help us make the right decisions. But sometimes these triggers can be hijacked so we make decisions against our best interests. A well-known principle of human behavior says that when we ask someone to do us a favor, we will be more successful if we provide a reason. People simply like to have reasons for what they do. A study has shown that by simply adding the single word because to a request caused 33% more people to say yes to it. So, human behavior is a major factor in increasing the conversion rate and making sales. So, let's get to the first principle, social proof. Social proof means we tend to follow what others are doing. If we see many people taking one path, then we assume it's correct for us to do it too. Whether we like to admit it or not, crowds are powerful forces. Humans are inescapably social, and the simple truth is we love to act in packs. Social proof is exactly what it sounds like, leveraging the testimonials, endorsements, and ratings that come from real people instead of you. For example, when you're choosing between 2 similar products on Amazon, are you going to buy the one with 5 good customer reviews or the one with 5,000 good reviews? Of course, the one with more reviews. The more people that seem to like a product, the better we assume it is. In other words, the first psychological trigger to increase your conversions and sales shouldn't come from you. It should come from the people who are already using your product or service. In addition to traditional forms of social proof like testimonials, endorsements, reviews, and ratings, there is one other form that you can employ online, namely positive social media mentions. To put this in practical terms, here are some of the apps you can use to build social proof on your store. The most obvious one is product reviews. This is the epitome of social proof. It encompasses everything I've discussed so far. I'm not going to go in depth with how the apps function because we already have dedicated tutorials for all apps within Vitals. You can check them out in the description section or directly from the app if you want to check it out, as we offer a 30-day free trial. I will say though, that product reviews shouldn't only be used on the product page. You need to add them on the home page as well. That's the first thing people will see when they visit your store, so you need to make a good impression from the get-go to get their attention and build confidence in your store and products. Another app you could use to build social proof is recent sales notifications. Think about it. You're browsing a store, you find the product but are still on the fence about whether you should buy it or not. But then, you see a little pop-up saying that another person just bought that product. Then another unintrusive pop-up saying that someone else bought a different product from the store. And then another, and then another. That gets in your head. Look at all these people buying things. This is where the crowd mentality comes into play. If other people are buying, then I should buy too. And the last app suggestion relating to social proof is shoppable Instagram feed. With this app, you can tag products in your Instagram posts and display the gallery on your store. You already know social media is dominating when it comes to spreading the word about great products, so take advantage of it. That's all I'm gonna say. The second principle I'm going to discuss is scarcity. Scarcity means we value and desire things more when they appear less available. What drives scarcity is fear. More to the point, as humans, we are far more motivated by the fear of losing than we are by the desire of gaining. For example, in one experiment by Stephen Warshall, people rated chocolate chip cookies better when they came from a jar with 2 cookies rather than a jar with 10 cookies. With at least 56% of us experience active FOMO or fear of missing out, this trigger drives consumer behavior and is even more responsible for our borderline addictive love for social media. When something is scarce, we overvalue it because we don't want to lose out on a rare opportunity. This is called the loss aversion bias, first described by Daniel Kahneman, who won the Nobel Prize for Economics. In his studies, he discovered people are 2.5 times more motivated to avoid losing money than winning the same amount of money, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Some common scarcity techniques include limited quantity. Only selling up to a certain number of a product automatically makes it more exclusive. For this reason alone, special editions usually command a higher price. And limited time, only selling a product up to a deadline. Most sales promotions use a variation of this to motivate people to come into stores. You can apply the same techniques to your online store by using the following apps. Stock scarcity is a no-brainer. You create urgency by letting your customers know that the inventory is running low on the products they're currently browsing. The fear of missing out is strong with this one. You force the customer to take action and buy now. Otherwise, if they take more time to think or browse other merchants, by the time they come back, there's probably not going to be anything left in stock, and nobody wants to miss out. While the stock scarcity app deals with the limited quantity, the next two apps are all about limited time. The countdown timer app works great in tandem with special offers and discounts. Not only do you offer your customers incentive to buy with the discount, you also put a timer on it, thus increasing urgency. The same thing with the cart reserve timer. You can only reserve products for a limited period of time. After the time is up, that product you had in your cart is free game. Anyone can snatch it. The cart reserve timer works great with the stock scarcity app because you employ both scarcity techniques, limited quantity and limited time. FOMO is real, my friends. Use this power wisely. Moving on to the third principle, commitment and consistency. This one is a bit trickier than the other two, but just as powerful. Commitment and consistency means we usually want to be consistent with what we have done and said in the past. Unfortunately, this human tendency can lead us down the path of foolish consistency. If someone can make us do a small action, then we'll be more likely to do a larger action consistent with it in the future. Basically, consistency and commitment operates on two levels. First, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. People, for both interpersonal social reasons and personal subconscious reasons, will go to great lengths to appear consistent with their previous thoughts and actions. This is exactly why making major changes in lifestyle, such as losing weight or quitting smoking, for example, are far more successful once the goal has been publicly announced. And second, small yeses always precede big yeses. Put another way, as anyone who's been in face-to-face sales knows, the first yes is hard, the second easy. The key is to make commitment a bite-sized act. When it comes to small yeses, a tiny action can produce huge changes. For example, one study done in the 60s found that if people agreed to put a small 3-inch "Drive carefully" sticker in their home window, then 2 weeks later, they were more than 4 times more likely to agree to put a large sign with the same message in their front lawn. Agreeing with a small request made them feel an obligation to agree with a much larger request 2 weeks later. But how can we apply this principle in e-commerce stores? Give your customers something easy to do. Earn that first yes, and then ask something bigger of them. A great app to use in such situations is announcement bars, especially for email capture. Email marketing still to this day is one of the best methods to increase your conversion rate and get more repeat buyers. But getting those emails isn't so easy, as you may know. What you could do is have an announcement bar and offer a discount in exchange for their email address. The trick here is the text message. Don't use a boring one. Get creative and be personal. Ask something like, "Do you want 50% off your next purchase?" No one in their right mind would say no to spending less money. So yes, I would like 50% off. And that right there is your first yes. Now all they have to do is add their email address and get the discount. That's commitment and consistency at work. If announcement bars aren't your thing, you can achieve the exact same thing with pop-ups. Pop-ups are more in your face since they can cover up more of the screen, so you can't miss them. Another advantage to pop-ups is that they can be set to show up only on exit intent, so they won't clutter your site. Try both and see which one works best for you. If you want to spice things up and add another dimension of fun for your customers, you can also give the Wheel of Fortune app a shot. In essence, it works the exact same way as the other two apps. You ask your customers for their email address in exchange for a discount. But now it's more of a game. It's fun. Will Lady Luck smile upon me today? On top of that, you can use scarcity here as well by having a countdown timer on the discount code. 2 principles working for you at the same time. Speaking of principles, I said I'm gonna give you 3 and I have delivered. But one more couldn't hurt. Here's your bonus influencing principle that you can use to boost your conversion rate. Authority. Authority means we obey directions from people who appear to be recognized experts, leaders, or officials. When we're kids, we follow the directions of our parents. As we grow up, we meet other authority figures like teachers, bosses, and doctors. As with the other principles of influence, this usually serves us well. Parents understand the world far better than a 3-year-old. Medical doctors earn their position of respect through years of learning, and so on. Authority is one of the scarier psychological triggers. Where social proof relies on the power of crowds, i.e. people just like me, authority takes this principle a step further to utilize the power of specific individuals. The reason authority is scary is the same reason it's powerful. As Cialdini explains, when reacting to authority in an automatic fashion, there is a tendency to often do so in response to the mere symbols of authority rather than to its substance. 3 kinds of symbols that have been shown by research as effective in this regard are titles, clothing, and automobiles. In other words, people not only respond to legitimate authority, they also respond to the appearance of it. And that's key. A clear example is how businesses in the health, supplement, or weight loss industry use endorsements from medical professionals with impressive credentials. Celebrities are also often used for the same purpose. But what do you do if you can't afford to hire Lady Gaga, David Beckham, or The Rock? The answer is logos. Logos are shorthand endorsements that immediately convey authority, especially logos that are well known and of companies people can trust. You want your customers to feel safe and secure when dealing with you, right? So why not use the logos of the payment methods you use? PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, etc. are well-known brands with good standing. By using the Payment Logos app in Vitals, you can display these logos next to the buying button, thus gaining credibility and authority simply by associating yourself with these companies. You use them anyway, so why not take advantage of that? You can further increase your authority and trust by also using trust seals and badges. Highlighting certain aspects like worldwide shipping or money-back guarantees help in building that trust in your brand. Those are the most useful psychological triggers that you can use to increase your store's conversion rate. It's up to you to choose the ones that best fit your store. Try all of them and see. If you want to take it one step further and actually physically see what your customer's behavior is on your store, you can use the Visitor Replays app in Vitals and determine which apps and principles convert best. There's nothing like being in your customer's shoes. As Robert Cialdini so eloquently puts it, our best evidence of what people truly feel and believe comes less from their words than from their deeds. In other words, to quote a better-known figure, it's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. Look at that, Confucius and Batman in the same video. We're legit. That's it for today's video. If you want to give Vitals a shot and use it to apply these practices, there's a link in the description for a 30-day free trial. And if you've enjoyed this video, maybe you'll like to give these ones a shot. Who knows, maybe you like one. Thanks for watching.